60 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley, with convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut. Visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
Join me, Tina Gorman, each week from 6 to 8 a.m. for Wake Up Wednesday, when my guests and I discuss health, wellness, and lifestyle reimagined.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
I was 8 years old and running with a dime in my hand to the bus stop to pick up a paper from my old man. Sit on his lap in that big old Buick, steer as we drove through town. Tassel my hair, say son, take good look around. This is your hometown. This is your hometown. In 65, tension was running high at my school. There's a lot of fights between the black and white.
Good morning, Mr. Fox.
Good morning, Mr. Dede. Well, this is, I should say that the guest that I had thought I was going to have this morning has COVID, so I was lucky enough to get former planning board, former selectman, and current chairman of the finance committee, also president of the Southwick Civic Fund, Inc., to join me here today. This is great.
You went right to the bottom of the barrel, but that's okay.
No.
That's all good.
No. But I think before we begin, I think we should set some ground rules. Because
I don't do well with rules.
Well, you're more experienced than me, so
Yes, I am.
I want to protect.
Finally at something.
I want to protect myself. So, all right. Let's
Wait a
get
minute.
it right.
Should I play this right off the beginning?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Sorry.
I've changed.
I know.
I'm not that guy.
That was perfect.
I'm not that guy. I really aren't.
All right, ground rules. Doug Moglen.
Who's that guy?
He's
The lowest guy in the totem pole when it comes to ratings? That guy?
Well, that guy. Should we, kind of give him a break today, or really hammer home on Doug today?
Honestly, I need him for the farm parade on Saturday. He doesn't know it yet, but he's driving the bus.
Okay. So we're not going to mention his low ratings.
No, I
when
wouldn't.
He does this show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Has he done? He's done it once, right?
Who knows?
Right.
The ratings.
According to the ratings, he never showed up. I had an election like that, but anyways.
We love you, Doug. We love you. All right, Joe.
Yeah.
Let's go right to the as president of the Southwick Civic Fund, which is a nonprofit organization that you started in our beautiful town of Southwick.
Yeah.
You have a big announcement.
I do. The farm parade is this Saturday. Oh, that's not it. The church, right? The church we've been talking about for months and months and months.
We were hoping to debut this on your show, but
yeah, and I'm sorry, but my Fridays have been all screwed up between the Big E and then I had to go drag racing, right? I had to get that out of my
I saw
blood.
the video. That was awesome.
Yeah, it really was. It was a very emotional day for me, but it was a good time. The church, the good old church. Back in May, they decided that parishioners there had a meeting and said, we're done. 216-year-old facility sitting in Southwick. And you're the historian on the table today, Russ, but I don't think that was really the center of town at one time, but boy, for that to be built 216 years ago, or that property to be what it is, there must have been a lot of action there back in the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I got a million phone calls. I didn't want to get involved, quite honestly. It was a rough month for me, and the right people tortured me. That's the best way I can say it. So went to church over there a couple Sundays. Me, retired Chief Bishop, Scott Lehman from Tynick Landscaping. They're all part of my civic fund, and went to church. It didn't fall down. That was step one, right?
Yeah.
Putting a suit on that fit, yes. Step two. And we met with the parishioners, found out their needs, their wants, what they were thinking. They really wanted the food pantry to stay there. For whatever reasons, the food pantry didn't want to be in the business of owning property.
Right.
And I understand that now that I had to write a check yesterday. I completely understand what they meant.
And you should probably mention that food pantry just doesn't serve the town of Southwick.
Nope.
But also the towns of Granville and Tolland.
Absolutely.
And it is extremely active.
Well, if you look back at the food pantry, back when I was on the select board with you, we did a lot for that. CBDG, is that the right word, verbiage?
Right.
So we're not a poor town, Southwick. We don't have the capability or the funding sources from the state to get a lot of stuff. We just don't. We're not a poor town. But our CBDG version of what we can qualify for and what we can do in life, we've been very fortunate with the select board, with the food pantry, to acquire funding. The van, we got them the van X amount of years ago, right? What a huge improvement. That got product to go to Granville, Tolland. That got them to pick up product where they needed to. Huge. And since then, we've been able, it seems like almost every couple of years, we've been able to get them some kind of funding source to continue to stay open and serve the residents of the three towns.
Right, and that's through the community block grant program.
There you go. Yeah,
That
so
that also helps us with roads.
It does. Sewers.
Non-accepted roads
Yep.
in the town of Southwick where we can't expend money.
Right. Veteran Street, perfect example, right?
Right.
We widened that street, got rid of some big old oaks that were there for probably 100 years.
Correct.
Cleaned it up, brought the water lines back in, new water lines.
Right.
So that grant is a huge, huge piece of Southwick.
Correct.
It truly is. And to help the food pantry like you guys have been doing over the years, I mean, it's a win-win.
It is. It is great. And that's great news. And I know that you have other plans for that
Yeah.
facility.
Yeah, we do. Everything's small steps. Our state rep, Nick Baldiga, was able to get us some funding. It's still sitting in legislation somewhere for hopefully only another week or two, I hope. And if that does go through, he was able to acquire $150,000 for me to do something on that property with the food pantry. And if you know me, I'm 100 miles an hour and 100 ideas. Until the shovel's in the ground, I'm everywhere. I'm scattered, but that's okay. That's how I live. So if everything goes right, they'll have a new facility on those grounds, a warehouse-type facility, one floor. If you've been to the food pantry, all their food's in the cellar.
Right.
I still don't know. I can't do it. I got one new knee. I got another new knee coming in a week or so. Up and down those stairs with heavy cans. It doesn't add up. And they've been doing it 12 years.
Right.
12 years they've been there. So everything goes smooth. They'll have a new facility in the springtime on the grounds. The house will end up renting out to help with the funding that you need to support such a project.
Correct.
It's crazy. The back hall there, the fellowship hall, seats 100 people. The paint was ordered this morning, so we'll have that all painted, cleaned up. We got to get some tables and chairs in there, and that'll be rented out. The key with the fellowship hall for me personally is any nonprofit in town that needs a meeting place, that needs a place to a party, who knows, it's theirs.
And that's great. That is
I
needed
really think
in
it
the
is.
town of
Yeah.
Southwick.
Yeah, and we're going to call it the Southwick Meeting House.
Oh, super.
Yeah, I think that fits it the best
Yeah.
at this time. The church is going to stay the same. Upstairs is a church. They left the pews. They left a few Bibles. Once again, I touched them. I didn't burn, so that's good. I'm getting better.
Are you looking for a new congregation to come in there? And
yeah,
maybe utilize it as well, or
yeah,
it's just as a meeting space?
Once a month, you're going to have a half hour with Joe Didi. So
Right.
how's that?
Well, Southwick.
Actually, I know people that. Wait a minute! I just had a brilliant idea. Did they deconsecrate it? So it's not.
They did.
Okay, so that's a good thing.
That was a rough day. Yeah.
Well, but
I
now
know.
you could use it as a. Did you talk to JPEG Luca?
No, he's on my list.
As a music venue?
it's amazing what we can do up there. Chief Bishop is a minister.
All right, you and I'll have to talk. You
Yeah,
have to
so
give
we
me a-
have
give me a
weddings
tour.
planned, funerals planned. The elevator's still there. It works wonderful. It can hold a lot of weight. So it's endless what you can do upstairs, quite honestly.
Right.
And then downstairs, I've got one more floor. I've teamed up with Chief Landis, and we have a lot of things. There's a lot of moving parts there to do with some services that are desperately needed in town, and it'll take us probably a year to get that up and running. He's been talking to the DA over in Springfield, and there's just a lot of moving parts there. I don't really want to get into it.
Yep.
But if things work
In
out
progress.
well, a lot of in progress. We've had meetings. Now that I actually have the key, everything changes, and now we can really move forward. So a lot of good things happening over there. I laugh. I say, give me 5 years, and then ask me how we're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but you actually just had the closing yesterday.
Yesterday
right?
at 10 a.m.
Right. So,
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have
Literally.
already accomplished quite a bit.
Well, so the way they close a church it's a heck of an experience to be involved with all that at the last moment. I knew nothing about it, did our research. My daughter did her research. Ben Coyle from Bacon and Wilson, who was my attorney first. Let me just get that clarified. Okay, back when he was a lackey, he would get my coffee a million years ago when I started my businesses.
I can't wait to tell Ben that.
Yeah, he knows. I tell him all the time as I write a check to him now. But he, so I've known Ben forever. When we started our nonprofit, he got involved with me helping with the corporation. The Bacon and Wilson has been very good to the Civic Fund over the years, and the other young man helped me do it. The accountant in Southwick. You actually turned me on to him.
Dean Rankin.
Dean Rankin, what a guy.
Excellent.
What a guy.
Excellent individual.
Yeah,
Excellent
I keep forgetting his name, but if you know me, I forget names. That's okay. But Dean was the other part of the Civic Fund. He grabbed a hold of what I was trying to do, did all the legwork for us, and it's a win-win.
Right. And just so people know that prior to them closing down, the town of Southwick had 7 churches in our small community.
Wow.
So even
Really?
with them closing, we still have 6 other churches in the town of Southwick.
And, when you say that, the one in the center of town, congregational?
Congregational.
Right, but they're low on attendance.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
with,
everywhere.
With everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of organizations, and
Yeah.
it's a shame.
It is.
Especially the history of the Methodist Church that just closed, and
yeah.
the Congregational Church was actually helped to form the town of Southwick. It was
Literally.
the meeting house.
Yeah.
The original burnt down. That was down towards Bugby Road.
Yeah.
Then that new one was built in the 1800s.
Wow.
Up at our center. So
Going to my Westfield 350 history, listening to all those history talks, you couldn't start a town without a church.
right.
Really?
Right.
Yes, you could not start a town without a meeting house.
Right, and just I don't know if a lot of people know this, but now that the Congregational Church in Southwick is now yoked with the First Congregational Church in Westfield because of declining membership.
Right.
And we are sharing a minister at this time.
Are you?
Right, so and a very nice person.
Yeah.
Very nice person. So I hope that this helps both of the churches in Westfield and Southwick.
And that's what basically happened with ours is the minister at the one I acquired was retiring. And they just didn't have it. And he was with Agawam and Southwick.
Correct. And
Yeah.
that's
That's the trend right now.
That's the trend.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
It is.
you know.
It's very unfortunate.
But I think that everything goes in cycles.
Yeah.
As we look back
Yeah.
on life, and we see other social organizations the same.
And you're at that age too now where you're looking back at it.
I'm
getting there. No, it's all good.
Yeah.
But you do. You turn around and go, whoa, what just happened? Where
Yeah.
where those 50 years ago?
I know.
You know?
And once I turned 39, I started noticing.
Did you
that.
notice that? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
noticed
Yeah. Yeah. Southwick High, right? Those math skills at Southwick High? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, me too.
All right. We have a lot of other announcements.
We have all
today.
kinds of stuff on the table.
So
today.
we have 2 things going on tonight. We have a pasta dinner at by the the VFW is holding the pasta dinner at the American Legion Post. in
Another group
Southwick.
that had to merge.
Right.
Another
They
scenario. They just couldn't
had
keep
to
it
close
going.
their facility, but
Yep.
they kind of are using the facilities at the American
They
Legion,
are.
which is great. They're doing a pasta dinner tonight at 6 p.m. And this is to benefit Southwick Police Department Canine Unit.
Wonderful.
And it's open to the public. Veterans is $7, and everyone else is $10. But I've gone to several of the meals. They're fantastic sauce. It's
Very nice people. They do a great job.
They do a great job.
Yeah.
Absolutely great job. And the other one is the Southwick Rotary is having an event tonight. Their annual vocational awards, which they haven't had for several years because of COVID.
Absolutely.
And so they're making it up, and they're going to be recognizing the Southwick Lions. They're going to be recognizing the late George LeBlanc, who was going to get the award.
My guidance counselor.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, George passed away before he could get the award, so
Right.
we'll be presenting that to his wife.
Wonderful.
Another wonderful person who helps out at the food bank a lot and does a lot for our community, Marie Siegel Daniels.
Marie Siegel. So
Right.
she's behind our green bean casserole for our Thanksgiving. Every year she provides all of it.
Right.
And I beg her every year, I can take you to like Restaurant Depot. I can take you somewhere where they have the big cans. Oh, no. Marie always brings me 2,000 small little cans so I can open them up all day.
Right.
I really appreciate what she does for me.
But that's Marie.
It is.
That
it
is
really
Marie.
is. Yeah.
But she,
Great.
whatever
great.
she can do,
She
does
does
it.
Literally.
And she doesn't want any recognition at
Nothing.
all. She had to be prodded
Yeah.
into accepting this award tonight.
Yes.
Prodded.
Yes.
And also,
She complained to me all day yesterday about it.
we have another organization being honored tonight, the Southwick Civic Fund,
Yeah.
Inc., which you formed.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. We actually tried to refuse it, only because that's just not who we are. We don't look for recognition. We get things done in town, but talked to my board and had to convince them. Let's get cleaned up, go have a nice dinner at Tucker's. It's a win-win, and it is.
Right.
But
you should be recognized, Joe.
no, I get that. I
And,
truly do.
And the other people that are working
Yeah.
with you,
Yeah.
you go above and beyond. You always have, and I don't think a lot of people realize how much you and your organization does for the town of Southwick. It's tremendous, absolutely tremendous.
Well, you will tonight because for some reason I have to speak. And all these years of being in, so I moved back to town. Bobby Fox, the jazz guy, that's how I knew him from the jazz festivals. Says, "Hey kid, why don't you come look at this Rotary stuff?" And it was either Lions Club or Rotary. And I knew the Foxes, or at least Bobby. I didn't know you yet. And I said, okay, let's go check it out. I liked it. It didn't fit what I wanted to do, but it fit enough to do it.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Years ago, my daughter came home from St. Thomas. I grew up here in Southwick, graduated in '84. I think I bought a house in '87 in Southwick. In West Springfield, started a business. And she came home and said, "There's no Santa Claus." Yeah, pretty heartbreaking. My son, who's 4 years older, I looked at him and said, "Hey, Ron, is there a Santa Claus?" "Yes, Dad." That a boy, right? He's a smart man.
Right.
So needless to say, if that's how they felt, I told Santa not to stop here anymore. And they each got one gift, and they started volunteering. So the West Springfield has an Operation Santa program, which we took after in Southwick. We walked in there, and God bless them, everyone's 80, 90 years old.
Right.
And here comes, I'm in my early 30s, late 20s, I don't even know anymore. And we helped run that program 12, 13 years. Ended up running the program, of course, because Joe Didi gets involved. And literally at the same time, around the same time was 9/11, we did a ton of work in New York City. We were actually in New York City the day before 9/11. I got in at 3 o'clock that morning. Went out to the shop at 6, 7 a.m. We're cleaning cars. That's what we did back then. And, of course, my wife comes in from the office and says, looking on TV to see what's happening. So it was pretty crazy. We raised $10,000, I think, 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And didn't know much about fundraising, just you had to do something. So I think that's what started me with giving back and so on and so on and so on. So, yeah, Bobby Fox hooks me into the Rotary. We're there for years. And then I think 2017, long talks with Chris Allen and Kevin Bishop about, getting more involved in Southwick. What more can we do? Lions Club is great. Rotary's great. I think Lions Club's president needs some new pair of glasses. I know you can get him through his group, but we'll talk about that tonight when I torture him. But yeah, so it is what it is, and yeah, we appreciate being honored. And I just didn't realize I had to talk for myself. So I just don't know if I'm going to do Joe Didi in the third person, because I just don't know how to do it. My staff has been great. They helped me write a speech or two. I'm told it has to be under 5 minutes. That's not going to happen. At least I get to go last. So the room's either going to be laughing or going to be very quiet when I'm done.
Yeah, the Rotary has set a time limit.
Yeah, and there's
It'd
even
have-
a clock on their thing. I don't know what that's about.
Right. Well, we had one person that.
Yeah, they said
kinda-
Rick Anderson went a little long, and I said the other day that Ellen Miles had stopped me and said, you can't go longer than Rick. And I smiled and said, well, my speech will have substance. So there's the difference. I'm not going to beat up on the selectman like he did for that. That I was at that speech. And boy, I'm surprised we didn't get shot walking out back in the day.
We're not going to.
Joe, I'm surprised you set such high expectations for yourself.
Oh, you should see the speech. Oh, yeah. It's interactive. Let me tell you that. And I've been told that I have a mic that doesn't have a wire, so we are all in trouble.
All right, continuing with different events. The next event that seems to be taking place is also being sponsored by the Southwick Civic Fund, Inc., and it's going to be October 25th at 6 p.m. at the Southwick Regional Auditorium. You want to talk about that?
Well, first we're going to talk about the farm parade because that's on the 22nd.
Oh,
that's this Saturday.
I apologize.
That's okay.
I
You're new.
apologize.
You're new.
Okay.
So yeah, 22nd Saturday farm parade, center of town. Starts at IBS in Southwick, Florissant. And thank you for letting the animals poop on your yard. I appreciate that because that's where they're staged. At Southwick, Florissant will be all the animals, and all the tractors are up at IBS.
Well, that'll help with growing the different flowers.
Right. We are a farming community.
Right.
So
we are a farming community. Right to farm.
Right to farm. And unfortunately, I only have maybe 10 animals. I don't like everything the Civic Fund does. It's a wing and a prayer. You're allowed to sign up when you get there. So we're hoping and praying that there's another 25 or 30 animals coming. And it kind of usually is. It's always last minute.
Yeah.
You have to watch the weather.
Correct.
And so on and so on. The tractor guys don't care. So
Yeah. It's going to be beautiful weather.
gorgeous.
And what time?
We walk off at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Yep. So registration opens up, I think, at 10 or 11 over at IBS parking lot.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. So
And we go down to the town hall.
right down to the town hall, and it's
have,
over.
have some festivities there
Nope.
this year?
Nope.
Just going to
Nope.
walk down.
Budgets,
next year.
baby. We got budgets.
Okay.
And we got no money.
All right.
We
And I
bought a
believe-
church.
I believe Ken will be documenting the
Yes.
parade
Yes.
as well.
Our Channel 15 boys are going to take care of a little filming of it. And quite honestly, we could have had festivities, but that takes money away from what we're trying to do. And
Yeah.
anything we raise goes to the animal shelter.
Correct.
So it's a win-win. We had a donation the other day of $500 from a company out of Hadley that's bringing a tractor down.
Yeah.
You can't. It's a win-win.
It is. And
Yeah.
it's a great thing. The kids love it. Absolutely
really do.
love it.
Yeah.
They like to see the tractors. They
Yep.
like to see the animals.
Yep.
Yeah, we're a farming community, yet there's a lot of kids that aren't into farming.
Well, the tractor passes them, right?
Right.
They don't, and I get it. We live in a world that's 100 miles an hour. We don't have time to slow down, and you're right. The kids are going to enjoy it, and
Yeah,
there's some
they-
big equipment coming.
They can
this
see
year.
it. They can
Yep.
hear it. They can see the animals up
Yep.
close.
Yeah.
Certainly, it's a great time, a great event for the town of Southwick.
And the high school band's playing.
Oh, super!
Yeah.
With their new uniforms.
Actually, no.
Now they're not going to wear their new uniforms.
No, they're not. They're wearing flannel.
Okay,
It's a farm parade.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
That's a
that.
great idea.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And that's probably one of my. I have a lot of highlights in my life, but just being able. I was a band guy. I played drums, so I went to Southwick High. I was in band.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, not a lot of people do. Actually, I played high school sports, and I spent 4 years of my high school on crutches and knee operations. Literally, I'd get fixed up, therapy, basketball, it'd break, back down, another operation, fixed up, therapy.
Well,
Literally 4 years. So band was perfect.
well, that's unfortunate because I was the #1 bench warmer at Southwick High School in sports. #1.
See, that's the difference, Mr. Fox. I got injured because I played. You know what I'm saying?
You played?
I played. That's how I got injured.
Hey.
You warmed the bench. I get that, and
Yeah.
your knees are probably good. But if you're
I
actually
played-
a player, you get injured. It's all good.
I was the smartest of the three. I played 1 year at Cathedral, and then I found out you could make money filming it.
Yeah, good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the farm parade, and then we'll talk about.
All right, then, because this is a big event, and thank you for doing this. But I've already told you it's going to be Tuesday, October 25th at Southwick Regional School Auditorium, and it's open to the public. And what
It
are we
is.
doing?
So, leaving office, I have, you always have a list of things you never accomplished. This was one of them. We talked about it at the Civic Fund, and the Civic Fund has a lot of volunteers, and it's got one loud mouth named Joe. So no one really tells me no. They smile, cringe. I think the church was a close no, but my hearing aids in, so I didn't hear them. We look back at the pandemic. It was a rough one, and unfortunately, it's almost like the Fight Club. You don't talk about it, right? You don't talk about the bruise in your eye from the Fight Club last night. Pandemic was the same way. It's not over. It's close. It's manageable, but we don't talk about it. We just don't. We haven't. The things that the town of Southwick, and every town is probably the same, but being a small town, 3 selectmen, 1 Board of Health agent, you had to get involved. There was no way around it. The pandemic came. We had a new health inspector by 2 months, Tammy Spencer.
Right.
Right. What a wild time for that poor lady. And she stood up. She did her job extremely well. So this is about honoring people that went above and beyond. As I've been told the best part of this for me personally is going back to department heads, elected officials, and talking about it and finding out, or because we all kind of forget what we do or we don't want to talk about it, but finding out what we did do. As Cindy Sullivan nicely told me, Mr. Didi, you shut down Town Hall. And I was like, well, I don't think I was chairman. Oh, no, but I was the sucker. Yeah, that was me. Yeah, and at the time, I get along with people. I can talk. I don't have a problem telling someone a bad thing. Life goes on. So I believe I got the small straw that day in the select board meeting, and I got to close down everything. Cindy Sullivan was first. So there's the senior center. There's everything she stands for. And this jerk with Carl Steinhardt has to tell her in Carl's office that she didn't forget a thing. She reminded me of everything I did wrong. It was pretty interesting, in a good way. So yes, Mr. Didi, you closed the town hall at, I think it was 9:20. She said I told her, and it was going to close at 10 a.m. She went down and told her staff. Some just took right off. Some stayed. And then, what's that proper word for the people that we that had to stay?
Furlough?
No.
Essential employees.
Essential employees
were born, right?
Right.
There's the big word, essential. And doing this, I kind of left that out. I mean, it's more broad than that. It was very hard to, what date you wanted to go with. It just, it's just too bad. I wish I had tightened the dates up a little bit, but I didn't. It's all good. So yeah, she's reminded me about that, and then. Boom, we need tents. We need tents now. Not you call Taylor Rental, they're thousands of dollars, and I get it. We all understand why. But the old Fox boys, they got some tents in the barn out back. Call DPW. They got some cement blocks, and I think within a week we had tents up, so the seniors could go outside.
Yeah, I think my brother Bob, myself, and you put up the tent.
Yeah, I brought the forklift down. We put them up. DPW showed up with the barriers for us, and boom, we're in the tent business, right?
Right.
The seniors are happy. Cindy Sullivan is happy.
Right.
And then, and it's cute. We're talking about all this, and then, me, I'm like, come to think of it, Cindy, I don't think you ever asked us for permission for anything else after that. You just did it. And we had to just pick up your pieces and make it work for you. And she laughed, and she goes, well, yeah, you just want to shut me down all the time. So it was great to have that conversation, because you forget about that. You'd move forward the next day. Yep. Board of Health, the same thing. Doug Moglen. The Zoom guru, right? Literally.
Absolutely.
Taught me stuff I didn't know about it.
Yeah, but just, here
we
we
work
are.
Together.
We don't know nothing about Zoom, especially some of us older selectmen at the time. We're clueless. We have younger wives maybe that help a little bit, and thank God we have kids.
Right.
Because our kids know more than all of us.
Right.
And they got us going. But if you went to a meeting in Southwick or any kind of, whatever we had to do on Zoom back then, Doug Moglen was there. Literally there.
And he went to...
Everything.
Did every single meeting. Not just ours.
I feel his pain.
Yeah.
Every board, commission.
Yep. Didn't matter.
He was there helping.
Yep. Understood the license agreements. I mean, there was so much depth there that none of us had to even know about, because Douglas just grabbed it and ran with it.
And I don't think a lot of people realize he was working from home. I mean,
for a year.
And he would go to work, I guess, in the middle of the night.
Yes.
When no one else was there.
Yeah.
To perform his duties,
Yep.
but he also was there morning, noon, and night for the town of Southwick to make sure government continued.
And it literally did.
Right.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Yep. And being in this position that we were in at the time, our DPW, right? 2 guys to a truck. They didn't have any options.
Right.
They masked up, and at that time we knew about COVID, but we knew nothing.
Correct.
We literally knew nothing. You look to your TV and to some jackass that is or isn't president at the time, and you just shake your head and go, they don't, they don't know. Wood was our problem, right? It's COVID on trees. It's COVID on brush.
Right.
We didn't know. TJ Bark mulched. He didn't care. He's like, yeah, drop it. We got equipment. We'll move it.
Right.
They stepped up to the plate. It's just a win-win all the way around. Police department, fire department, even the poor EMS.
Right.
Every other call, they have the symptoms.
Right.
So dress up, boys. And they're not sleeping at home anymore because you came down with it or someone in the house came down with it. It was a huge to-do. So this is where that came from. I just wanted to thank everyone. Yeah. And my last piece of that is I call up our superintendent of schools. I said, hey, I don't know what you're doing. If you're doing anything, this is what I'm doing. I need to use the school, the upstairs. Yep, no problem, Joe, whatever you need. And a good friend of all of ours is Jim Putnam.
Correct.
So Jim can speak, right? I'm not a speaker. I mean, I guess I am. Come at the end of the day, I can talk. So I reached out to Jim and said, I want to do this program. Poof, right on board. 2 seconds, not even an issue. So he says to me, hey, we got to look at the food pantry. They were open.
Absolutely.
And the school system, the lunch cafeteria ladies.
Right.
Did you know they were doing 1,200 meals a day?
I didn't realize it was that high, but that's amazing.
I'm doing 80 or 90 a day for the seniors at Malicious, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's chipping in, everyone's making it work.
Yeah.
So I sat down with those folks this week. 1,200 meals a day, and the first 2 or 3 days, only 2 people made 1,200 meals a day.
Ugh.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people there to thank. The Civic Fund, we have a nice small certificate. I'm really proud of. I had these nice little pins made. They say Hidden Hero, Southwick, Mass. Established. They're gold and our green, a little bit of black. They look really cool. And I did enough of them because I think in future years, hopefully not pandemic, but there's no reason why the Civic Fund, because we watch and we listen, right? That's really what we do. Everyone has their service above self is Rotary and Lions. I don't know, get a free pair of glasses. I don't know what their thing is,
We'll find out tonight.
It's definitely not getting 2 benches. I know that, but we'll talk about that tonight. So we have extras made. So our hope is in years to come when I find out an employee of the town that really does step up and does not look for credit, that we can nicely walk over to DPW or Board of Health or wherever that may be, and the Civic one can give them a certificate and a little pin just to say thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I'm excited about that program.
Right.
But that's what I got.
All right. We have. Now moving on, we have 2 events.
You want to take a break?
Yeah, we should take a break.
Okay, we'll take a break.
Thank you.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Dunkin' Donut Shops of Westfield and the Sardinia family. It's nice to know that even as the world changes, Dunkin' Coffee remains the same at 7 convenient locations throughout Westfield.
Join us every Thursday morning
from 6 until at least 7:30.
Check out the Bobby G and Company Show
right here on WSKB 89.5
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 at 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Well, welcome back. Russ Fox here with Joe Didi, and we are talking about different events in the town of Southwick. And the one we have coming up on October 29th, Saturday, from 1 to 4 p.m. is the Spirit Walk, and this is sponsored by the Southwick Historical Society. Just so people don't get confused, there is a historical commission, which is a town board.
Yep.
The society is a nonprofit organization. If you haven't been to the Spirit Walk, it's at our old cemetery. It is fantastic. They have people dressed up in different costumes that talk about the history of the town of Southwick and the individual they're representing. You have to make reservations. I can give you a telephone number now, but you can access it through the Historical Society if you go online. It's 569-0275, and tickets are $5. It's a $5 donation, but it's a great time.
It really is. I've been to it for a few years. I was just up there mowing the old cemetery. What I can't get over. So we have a group called the Tombstone Mafia.
Seriously?
Seriously. Yeah, I got shirts. Yeah, I got shirts print up, and the back says that the back basically has a picture of a tent, and it says the ringleader of the show, and I won't say the other word because I don't want you to beat me. So years ago, the staffing at the cemetery had some issues, and I got probably 10, 15 guys that literally from the best class ever, 1984, Southwick High.
I don't believe that's correct.
I believe it is correct. I was the one that burned the hill and didn't get caught. And now I can talk about it. I can't go to jail anymore for that. So I laugh, and we're a little shorthanded at the cemetery. At the time, I'm a selectman, and I call my buddies up. I said, usually I should call and say, are we going to get on our Harleys, and are we going to go riding on a Saturday? Well, we don't own Harleys, but we all got lawnmowers. So I said, hey, and Doug Moglen, he even showed up. Actually, I picked him up. I said, hey, let's get together next Saturday, the cemetery. And I hate to say it this way, but we all have a lot of friends there. We truly do.
We do.
We really do. So it was quite an adventure. It took us 4 hours. There was probably 12 of us, weed whackers, mowers, mowed the whole place, old, new, weed whack, did a great job. It was right around this time of year. So we were up there a couple of weeks ago doing it again. And things have changed. Great management at the cemetery. It's upkept. The upkeep is wonderful, and you have a great group restoring the stones. I can't get over the difference when I got over to the old cemetery to mow. Just, I know it's a stupid word, phenomenal, right? But unbelievable what those guys are doing over there.
Gene Thoreau does a fabulous job, not only for
He's
the
a
town
treasure,
of Southwick.
Yeah, a treasure to the whole area.
With Westfield and Quabbin. I mean, he is a dedicated individual.
And if you go to the Spirit Walk, just go to look at the stones even.
Right.
The history in that old cemetery is scary of how far it goes back.
Right.
And who did or didn't have money is how I look at things, the size of some of the monuments, and it's the whole family buried there.
Right.
And they're 22 years old, they're 18, If you start doing the math, it's scary. We didn't live long back then.
No.
We just didn't, but Southwick had the ambition back then for the cemetery, and it's very impressive.
It is.
And Lisa Anderson is doing a lot over there now.
She is doing a fabulous job.
The
as
park
the town
benches,
sexton.
the trees. It's a beautiful place. It really has come a long, long way over the years.
And the monuments in the old cemetery, you can read a lot of them now.
You can. You still
where you
can.
couldn't read them before.
Absolutely.
So it's history, and it's a great time. Even if you can't make the Spirit Walk, take a
stop
walk
in
through
sometimes.
there.
Yeah,
just take a walk through.
Yeah.
Be respectful.
Yep.
Yep. But walk through. We have another thing going on that same Saturday. That evening, you want to mention the Trunk or treat.
Trunk or treat. So the Girl Scouts put that on. Great event. Saturday, October 29th. The rain date is the 30th, 5:30 to 7:30. It's at Wally Park on Powder Mill Road. The person in charge of it is Lisa Bailey. She can be reached at 413-312-2311. That's 413-312-2311. Last I knew, they were short a couple vendors, and basically it's a trunk or treat. You show up, you open up the trunk of your car, you dress in costumes. Kids have a great time. The fire department brings their big, beautiful new truck. They put it up there with all the lights on it. It's gorgeous. It's just a great time. Malicious did it for the last few years. We're signed up for this year too. It's a great event.
Right, and it is open to not just Southwick residents, but also Tolland.
Yep, Southwick, Tolland, and Granville residents and students only.
Right.
We're not looking for you Westfield people. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
I think there's one in town, anyways.
No, there is. And
right.
it's
oh cripes! What's the club on Elks Club? I think usually does
something.
With that.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's a great time. It's like I say, it says 5:30 to 7:30. Do not get there before 5:30. They have to get set up. There's tons of candy. The kids have a great time. Do we have trick or treating in town?
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes, we do. And
but we don't have a lot of areas for it. We have the small neighborhoods by Powder Mill.
Well, I'll tell you.
We have the uppers. Russ, do you get trick or treating?
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank you. I don't either. I just don't.
You know, we buy the candy and
eat
the
it.
grandkids, or we eat it.
Yeah.
You know, but no, we don't get any trick or. They're a little nervous.
That
going
driveway.
up that long driveway
Yeah.
to a dark farm, you know.
Understood.
You know, years ago when we had the animals, it was even scarier.
Sure.
But no, I've learned with my daughter. My daughter's now getting her master's up at UMass, but I learned years ago where the good spots in town were to go. You know, who gave the best candy,
the full-size bars.
And she educated to me, no, we're not going there, Dad. We're going to this neighborhood because we can make a bigger kill over here. So,
right.
So we have some good areas in town.
We'll just keep them to yourself.
Well, we don't.
Like a fine wine.
If I run for re-election, I don't want people mad at me that I gave away the.
Oh, you gave away the farm.
Right. You know.
That's funny.
All right, let's talk to something a little more serious.
Yeah.
We have an election coming up November 8th.
We do.
It's a Tuesday. This is the big one for governor and all the other important offices, state offices and federal.
Yep.
Town Hall, the elections are held at Town Hall from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. But
is there early
voting? There is early voting. And early voting is going to begin this Saturday, October 22nd, at Town Hall from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then it continues Monday the 24th, Tuesday the 25th, Wednesday the 26th, Thursday the 27th, Friday the 28th, Saturday the 29th. We go into Monday the 31st, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we end on Friday, November 4th. And those are all at Town Hall. People can go online. The list is right on the website at Town Hall. But there are 4 ballot questions, so this tends to take a little bit longer for people to vote. The past several times, I have voted early voting.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I think it's convenient.
It is.
It's you don't fight a crowd.
Yep.
You get in there, but I kind of do it to lighten the load for the 8th. You know,
right.
that day because traffic flow and things like that. So. If you want to get in there, another example is my daughter. She comes home from college to do the early voting. You know, so and I know the other kids do that are in college close by.
Yeah.
So it is a good time, and it's very important. Every person's vote counts. It always amazes me. Presidential elections will get 80% of the voters to come out. You know, we have about 7,000 voters in the town of Southwick, and you'll get 80%. But for this one, it'll be 40, maybe 50%.
If you're lucky.
And on a local election, we're under 20%.
Yeah.
So, but votes do count. People should get out to vote. If you have that red booklet that the Secretary of State had sent out, read it over. Look at those ballot questions.
Right.
And it'll also tell you the candidates running if you go.
Sure.
You know, so.
It's your God-given right, and you don't take advantage of it. Shame on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You and I both know we've been involved in government for
Yep.
many years.
Yep.
And people like to complain, and then when you ask them, well, what did you do? Well, I don't vote.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
folks,
My dad's rule was if you don't vote, you have no right to complain.
right. And
Yeah.
and
Welcome
you,
to social media, my friend.
I know, but
Right.
that's been a rule since I was a little kid.
Sure.
Right. And another thing is people don't go to town meetings.
Nope.
And that's I'm going to get to that, and after my next announcement, very important. Veterans Day Parade is November 11th. It's going to start at 11 a.m.
Yep.
across from the Summer House on College Highway. Then we'll have a parade down to the.
So we are having a parade down. I
Down
get
to-
those confused, which one we do and which one we don't.
Right.
So this one we do.
It's a short
Veterans we do.
parade
Yep.
down to the town common,
Yep.
which has just been beautifully restored. And a lot of people were involved. Southwick Civic Fund
Yeah.
was involved.
Yep.
I know the 250th raised a lot of money.
Yep. So the 250th, the guy there that raised all the money. But once again, Jim Putnam, right? We're done. We have some pennies left over, and he's like, "What do you want to do? I guess we could plant a couple hundred trees. We could do this. We could do that." And Jim nicely said, "We need to look at the War Memorial,"
Right.
and we did.
Right.
Extremely blessed to put my fingerprint or the Civic Fund fingerprint on that War Memorial.
Yeah.
It came out beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it
absolutely gorgeous.
really is.
It's a tremendous honor to our
Yep.
veterans.
Definitely.
And it's an asset to. That's the center of our town.
It is.
And
Yep.
to have something that beautiful there,
Yeah.
is a testament to
Yep.
a lot of good work that a lot of people did.
It really is, and a lot of town residents. We used mostly every business in town to do that.
Right.
So it was a win-win.
It definitely was a win-win. All right, then we're going to go right into it. I said people need to attend town meetings, and we have a special town meeting coming up on Tuesday, November 15th. We're going to be at Southwick Regional School.
Yep.
But it is not going to be in the auditorium because they have a play going on.
Oh.
We're going to be in the gymnasium.
Okay.
And it starts at 6 p.m. There are only 2 articles. One of the articles is talking about a tax incremental financing, otherwise known as TIF.
TIF, yeah.
For one of our local businesses, Wally
Computer, yeah.
Associates. This is something that we offer along with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to try to retain businesses or have businesses expand. In this case, this is a tremendous expansion for a very successful business.
It is.
We want to keep them in Southwick. We don't want them expanding in another community.
They're currently renting in other communities because they don't have the room in Southwick. So
Correct.
it's a win-win for the town.
And they have other facilities in other
Yes.
communities.
Yes.
But they chose Southwick, or they, as long as I guess we're competitive.
Yeah,
And,
and Mr. Wally was smart years ago. He bought enough land for expansion. He could see his future, and now we're finally here to do that.
Right,
Right. It's a win-win for the town.
And I just want to point out, because I know there are some people that don't get behind TIFs. Okay, I was
I
on
get
the
it.
Economic Development Commission
Yeah.
for 10 years, and we gave out several TIFs.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of that.
Yep.
Most of them are 10 years, and it's a reduced rate. This is only a reduced tax on any improvements to the property.
Correct.
We don't lose any money.
You don't lose any money.
Right. So we're only gaining money every year. And
Yes.
10 years goes by like that. It's a
It
snap
truly
of the
does.
fingers.
Yeah.
But we were able to retain B&E Tool, which expanded with
Yep.
DNS.
Yep.
We
Westfield Gauge.
Westfield Gauge decided to relocate from Westfield and come to Southwick. Wally Computer was thinking about going to another state.
Yep.
And they got a TIF to build their original building in Southwick. So I think they're successful. So I hope people will support this, or at least keep an open mind. This is an up or down vote. No amendments can be offered because this is an agreement that's been approved by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, or the language has been approved by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And if it's approved by the voters, then the Commonwealth will make the final determination.
Yeah.
So, in the second article, and I want you to add to this because this is Mr. Moglen's high-speed internet committee, and this is really an article to create a municipal light plant.
Yes.
And because we're looking at fiber optics, and it most likely would be involving Westfield Fiber Optics coming to Southwick.
Yes.
And this is something necessary. You need to have 2 consecutive town meetings where you vote to create a municipal light plant.
Okay.
I mean, it's just a technical thing. It's in name only.
Yep.
But it would give us the option, if we decide to go in that direction,
Yes.
that we could. This would be one of the hurdles that have been met. And so this article, even if it's approved, doesn't necessarily mean we're going with this direction. No
Right.
money is expended.
None.
So it just keeps our options open.
Yep.
And I know that Mr. Moglen and his committee will be explaining it in more detail at the town meeting.
Yes. So years ago, pre-COVID, we looked at this. We had Westfield Fiber come in. I believe the price tag back then, and folks, this is just me talking. So don't. It's not rule. It's not law. It's Joe Didiism. All right. It's real simple. I believe back then it was around $8 million to do it, and don't quote me exactly. And we looked at it as a board, and we didn't have the stomach for it. That's a lot of money. You know, it's a lot of money. COVID came. We figured out, oh my God, we need internet. We really need internet, and you have one provider right now. So I think it opened up everyone in town. I mean, in town they all say, oh, we need another source. We need another source for internet, until you tell them $8 million, and it gets real quiet in the room. And it should. That's a lot of money. It's a huge investment. I'm not saying it's not doable, because it is. Look what the state has done with all the hill towns.
Right.
Look what Westfield Fiber has done helping all the hill towns. Right. So they're a perfect partner with us. I think it's a win-win. It's just a process, like you said, to get that ball rolling and to take a serious, hard look at it. We're going to need to do something, and I know, and I'm not the techie guy, no doubt about it. So I hear 5G, I hear this, I hear that. Well, it's been years. 5G isn't impressing me at all. The fiber optics, people don't understand, is especially with Westfield so close and around Southwick. You know, we can pull fiber out of Westfield in many locations because it's right to our boundaries. Fiber is underground on the rail trail.
Correct.
Currently going to be utilized at our police and fire departments with our dispatch system. Right. So we have it. We just can't use it until we get this plan passed and get that process started. Maybe we're ending up doing some parts of town eventually. I don't know. But
Well, as you know, that was a bone of contention with me.
Yeah.
And I spelled that out to Mr. Moglen and the other members of the board. When Continental Cable first came to the town of Southwick, they didn't want to do the entire town.
Right.
You know, because it wasn't profitable. And the select board at that time said, or selectmen at that time said,
right.
If you're not doing the entire town, you're not coming to the town of Southwick.
Right.
And I would hope that that would be the same kind of agreement we're going to have.
Yeah,
with,
you have to.
That eventually
right.
the entire town will be covered.
Is Westfield fully done now?
No, I don't believe so.
No, I thought he was back there.
They're still working.
Yeah, they're still so and that's been a couple of years now, right? So there's a process there.
Right.
What's still working? Wait a minute, hold on. I didn't hear it.
In Westfield, do we have fiber everywhere now in Westfield, or do they still have
No, not everywhere. No, but it's pretty close.
Pretty close, right. So same thing. It's a process. It's going to take years.
Right.
You know.
So I didn't want people to get the impression that we're just going to do the easy part
right.
and the rest of the people. Now, if we enter into
an
agreement, and it's all in.
Yeah.
We're a community. We're all together.
We are. We are. And it's a win-win.
And I see we're getting low on time, so let me mention very quickly. The Fire Association will be having their second annual bingo night.
Where's that going to be?
At the Southwick Recreation Center, which
Wonderful.
is another nonprofit. I happen to be on the board of
Great group.
directors
Great group
for
of people.
full disclosure.
Yeah.
It's going to be at 6 p.m. It's November 9th. It's a Wednesday night. It's a fun time. It's something that supports our Fire Department Association. I hope people would put that on their calendar. Come on out.
Yep.
Even if you don't never played bingo. Come on out.
It's
have
a great
some fun.
time. It's
have
a great
some fun.
time.
They got food trucks there, right?
I
know.
I know everybody keeps looking at me about that. I don't know what's going on yet.
You know. Well, last year they had food.
They had a
trucks.
guy last year. I don't know his name, but
you
they had a guy last year.
So you can have have dinner, you can have some fun.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Win prizes.
Absolutely.
It's a great time. Absolutely great.
One last thing I want to add is, folks, we all Google. We all do stupid stuff with our phones. So Google Southwick Mass calendar. Click on it, and the town website will come up with a calendar, and everything is on there that's happening locally. I got it right here. The library, you name it. There's stuff going on in town all the time that we don't actually talk about sometimes.
Right.
So please go on that site. Click on even the library. Libraries, it looks like they have events every day.
They do. We have a very active librarian. There's so much going on. We're a recreational community.
Yep.
The rail trail is being used.
It is.
We have the Congamon Lakes. We have some beautiful restaurants in town.
We do. We do. We're a great little town.
We are.
Yep.
We are. We got a lot to offer.
We do.
There's a reason why people come into the town of Southwick.
Not just to complain?
Not to complain.
Oh.
But just to see what's going on. It's if you haven't been to Southwick, come on down. There's always something to do.
There is. What you got?
Well, I don't know, Mr. Dede. I think that we've kind of covered just about
I think we did.
Everything.
We did. We didn't even have to open up the Westfield News. But I had it just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah.
You never know.
You never know what you're going to read in the Westfield News about the town of Southwick.
Well, luckily we're not on the top of the fold. And we are on the bottom. Sorry. Select Board places Wally Tiff Fiber Network on warrant.
There you go.
There you go. So you can read about it in today's paper.
Right.
The Westfield News.
Absolutely. As usual, town of Southwick is always looking for volunteers.
They are.
If you don't like to volunteer for something in government, there's the Rotary, the Lions, the Civic Fund, Friends of the Library, Friends of the Rail Trail.
And I had to sign a disclaimer for tonight. I'm not allowed to poach anyone from either the Lions Club or the Rotary, I was told.
Well,
30 days or something.
Yeah,
they can't jump ship.
Sure it wasn't 30 minutes?
No, it's probably 30 days. Some of them I don't want.
There's nothing wrong with poaching.
No. That was my biggest fear. I'm like, oh, God, I'm going to have my speech and talk about everything the Southwick Civic Fund has done. And they're all going to go, oh, we want to be like you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, next year.
Well.
All right, that's all we got, folks. It's the end of the day. Are you ready, Pete?
I'm ready.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me, Mr. Fox. I didn't take over your show.
Thank you. And Mr. Moglen, I'm sorry that our ratings are going to be much higher than yours, and I apologize in advance. But some people can do it, and some people just...
just don't shut up. Anyways.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
He can still believe there's a place in her life someday.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by